Okay, so let's start with our next example. So in this example, we want to print the full pyramid using the stars. What is full pyramid? See, this is our full pyramid. So we want to print this using stars. Okay, let's start with making the grid. Okay, so we know how to make a grid. Let's make a grid first. Okay, so let's mark the index. So let's mark it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and mark the columns as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we carefully see, there are three patterns. One is the spaces, other one is the stars, and after stars, another spaces. Okay, so let's mark it. See, this is one pattern, it is another pattern, and the white spaces are another pattern. Okay, so let's try to solve each pattern one by one. So if we observe, our n value here is 5, right? So for n value 5, the star starting from index 5. So if our n value will be 4, our star will be starting from 4th index. Okay, so here n is 5, so our first star in first line, our first star will be starting from 5. Okay, before that, let's consider this spaces pattern. Okay, so we understood that our star will print from index 5, right? So before 5, everything will be space only, right? Before 5, everything will be space only, and after 5, everything will be space only, right? So the number of spaces in the left of the star and number of spaces in the right of the star in each line will be equal. So in first line, number of spaces are 4, in the left also, in the right also. In the second line, the number of spaces are 3 on the left and 3 on the right. In the third line, number of spaces are 2 on the left and 2 on the right. In fourth line, number of space is 1 on the left and 1 on the right. And in the last line, there is no space, right? Okay, now we have three patterns inside this, right? We have three small patterns inside this. So how to separate them? Okay, so there are three patterns, right? There are three patterns. So let's take a variable to separate between stars and spaces. Okay, let's take a variable to separate between stars and spaces. Okay, so we will take a variable space to separate stars and space. Okay, we want to print space as well as star as well as space in a same line. Okay, to separate them, we will take a variable space. And what will be the value of space? Okay, what will be the value of space? We know that our star will print same index as n. So n was 5, so our star will print from 5 index. Okay, so before star everything is space. Okay, so let's take space as n minus 1. See, in one line we want to print space, then star, then space. So before star everything is space, and after star everything is space. So to separate them, we are taking a variable space. And what will be the value of space? Just before the star value, it will be space only. Okay, so we have one more pattern. We have stars, then we have spaces on the right. Okay, so to separate stars and right side space, we will take one more variable. And we will name it as let's say star index. Okay, star index. Okay, so it will be nothing but the ending index of our star. Okay, so it will be nothing but the ending index of our star. See, in space variable, we have stored the last index where the space will be. Okay, in star index, we will store the last index in which star lies. Okay, so we initially we know that it will be n only, right? We are starting from 1 star, then moving forward, right? So in the first line, we have only 1 star. Okay, and that will be at nth index, right? So till now it is clear. See, we have three patterns inside it. We have spaces, we have stars, then we have another spaces. Okay, so to separate them, I am taking two variables. Okay, so space variable will store the last index till where the space ends and the star starts. Okay, and the star index will store the last index where the star ends, where the star ends. Okay, see why I am taking these two variables, that you will understand in this example as well as in further example. Okay, we can do it in many ways. I am teaching you the most simplest way. Okay, just try to understand it. Okay, so till here everything will be space, till here everything will be space, and this is the last index of space. Okay, so initially space variable will store this, initially space variable will store this, right? Okay, after space star is there. Okay, so star index is storing the last index of where the star lies in our pattern. Okay, after that spaces will be there. Okay, so these spaces will be same as these spaces. Okay, so if you write logic for this pattern, this will also be done. Okay, if you write logic for this pattern, this will also be done. So do you understand it? Initially what we are doing, we are storing the last index of our space and last index of our star. Now if we see in the first line spaces are 4, right? In the first line there are 4 spaces, right? Now what is happening in this pattern? The spaces are keep on decreasing. The spaces are keep on decreasing. See, in this line, in first line we have 4 space, then in second line we have 3 space, then in third line we have 2 space, then in fourth line we have 1 space, right? So let's write it somewhere. Let's write space, then stars, then space, right? So in first line how many spaces are there? 4 on the left, and on the right same 4. And how many stars are there? Only 1, right? Okay, so in the left we have 4 spaces, in the right we have 4 spaces, and in the middle we have only 1 star, right? In the second line the space will be 3 on left, 3 on right, and then how many number of stars are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 stars are there. Okay, in the third line how many spaces are there? Only 2 spaces are there. Okay, 2 spaces on the left and 2 spaces on the right. How many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 stars are there. In the next line there is only 1 star on the left and 1 star on the right. How many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stars are there. In the last line we have 0 spaces on the left and 0 spaces on the right. And how many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 stars are there. Okay, so if you understand it carefully, the spaces value is keep on decreasing. Right? So it was 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, and at the end it will be 0. Okay, so spaces are keep on decreasing and stars are keep on increasing. Right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So stars are keep on increasing. Okay, so we just need to have a clear idea about it. Okay, so spaces are decreasing and stars are increasing. That's only we want to know about it. Okay, that's only we need to know, that spaces are decreasing and stars are increasing. Okay, now if you clearly see, ending index of a star is increasing by 1. Okay, so in the first line the ending index was 5. In the second line the ending star index was 6. In third line the ending index was 7. In fourth line the ending index was 8. In the fifth line the ending index was 9. So if you observe, the star's index is increasing by 1. Okay, the star index is increasing by 1. Okay, so why it is increasing by 2? Because in the left and in the right, 1 is increasing. Okay, so we just need to observe this only. Okay, before this space will handle, right? So we just need to take care about the ending index. Just take care about the ending index of spaces and ending indexes of stars, right? Okay, if I give you a dry run of it, what will happen? See, in first line initially the space index was 4. It is nothing but n minus 1. And our star index was n, right? So it will be 4 and it will be 5 in our case, right? N was 5, 5 minus 1, 4, and star index will be 5. So what we will do, we will run an outer loop. See, we want to print 5 lines. So outer loop will run for 5 times. Okay, we want to print n lines, so outer loop will run for n times, right? So outer loop concept is very clear, right? So in inner loop, we have to run 3 loops. One for this pattern, and another for this pattern, and another for this pattern, right? Okay, when we are at first line, okay, so we will print spaces, then a star, then spaces. Let's dry run it. So initially our I will be 1, outer loop value will be 1. So we are at first line. Okay, we are at first line. So what we want to do, we want to print spaces, then stars, then spaces. Okay, so first run a loop for spaces. Okay, run a loop for spaces. So let's take it as J, and let's start from 1. Okay, so you can start from 0 as well. So, and till when it will run? It will run till our space. Okay, so let's run till our space. Okay, so plus, right? See out space. Okay, so this will print our spaces. Okay, this will print our spaces on first line. Okay, let's now print the star. Okay, so let's take it as K. Now what will be the starting index of star? What will be the starting index of our star? Okay, so starting index of star will be the current index of space plus 1, right? So the starting index of our star will be nothing but current space plus 1. Okay, so the starting index will be space plus 1. Now till when our stars will run? Till the star index, right? Till the star index. Star loop will run till the star index, right? So keep on increasing, and what will we print? We will print the star, right? It will be equals to star index. Okay, so we have printed the spaces, we have printed our star. Now we want to again print the spaces. So nothing but use this for loop again, right? Write this for loop again. So if I write this for loop again, it will be nothing but for int, let's say j equals to 1, j is smaller than equals to space, and j plus cout space, right? Okay, so we have to take care of only these two things, space and star index, where our space is ending and where our star is ending, right? So as soon as space will end, our star will start printing. Okay, as soon as our space will end, our star will keep on printing. Okay, and as soon as our star will end, we will again keep on printing the spaces at every line. Okay, at every line we keep on doing things, right? So this code we have written, it will work for one line. Okay, we have printed our first line. Now in the second line, okay, so write cout statement. So cout handle, right? We will come to our next line. So in next line, what will happen? The space index is keep on decreasing by 1. So in next line our space value will be 3 only. Okay, in the next line our space value will be 2 only. In the next line our space value will be 1 only. Okay, so in the next line what will happen? Our space value will decrease by 1, right? Our space value will decrease by 1. Okay, and star index, in first line our star index was 5. Okay, in second line our star index is 6. So it is increasing by 1. So before we have 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9. So we will keep on increasing. Okay, so our star index value will be increased by 1. See, minus will be decreased by 1, and plus will be increased by 1. Okay, so these are nothing but post decrement and post increment. Okay, so this will be work fine for one line. Okay, if you enclose this code inside our outer loop, we will be able to print this pattern. Okay, we will be able to print this pattern. Okay, so let's code it in our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's start writing our code. So let's take n equals to 5, right? So let's take two variables, space. Space initially will be what? It will be nothing but n minus 1, right? And our star index will be nothing but n. Okay, so let's run our outer loop. So it will be nothing but int I equals to, let's take 1 I smaller than equals to n I plus plus, and now let's print our spaces, right, till space index. Okay, so let's run our code. Int j equals to 1, j is smaller than equals to spaces space j plus plus. Okay, so print cout this one, right? Now let's print stars till star index. Okay, so for int j equals to, starting index will be nothing but space plus 1, because we want to print the stars just after the spaces. So if space ends here, from the next index we want to print star. So that's why I'm taking the index as space plus 1. Okay, so it will run till our star index, right? Our star index j plus plus. Now we want to print what? We want to print star, right? And after that again we want to print what? Space. So print spaces till space index. Okay, so first pattern and last pattern is same. So nothing, just write the same code as we have written earlier. Okay, j is smaller than equals to space j plus plus cout this one. Okay, so after writing this code, this we have written for one line. Okay, so for one line it will work fine. For one line it will work fine. From the next line, from the second line, what we are doing, the spaces keep on decreasing. Okay, so write space minus minus. The space is keep on decreasing. The spaces keep on decreasing, and the star index is keep on increasing. So star index plus plus, right? So this will be work fine. This will be work fine. Okay, now let's write handle as well. Let's write handle as well. Okay, so it will come to next line. So this is our code. Let's save it and let's run it. See this, we have successfully printed our star pattern, right? We have successfully printed our full pyramid pattern. Okay, if you want to clearly see the output, just take hyphen instead of space. Okay, so now run this code again. See this, initially let's zoom in. Okay, so initially we have 4 spaces, 1 star and 4 spaces. We have 3 spaces, 3 star and 3 spaces. Then we have 2 spaces, then we have 1 spaces. So spaces are keep on decreasing. This is nothing but spaces. Okay, we have written hyphen, but these are spaces. So spaces keep on decreasing, and star is printing just next to our spaces ends. Star we are printing just next index from the spaces ends. Okay, so after star ends, we are printing spaces again. After star ends, we are printing spaces again to the right? Okay, so I guess this is clear to you. We are taking two variables, space and star, just to separate the spaces and stars. Okay, so that's all about this. And what will be the time complexity that you can calculate? Okay, so what will be the time complexity of this program? See, outer loop we are running for n times. Okay, so let's write it here. Outer loop will run for order of n times. Okay, so let's write small n only. Okay, so inner loop. At worst case, these stars will print how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 times. So in worst case, it will print for 9 times. So if you write an equation when n equals to 5, it is running for 9 times. So it will be nothing but 2n minus 1. You can calculate it, right? For n equals to 5, it is running at worst case 9 times. So it will be nothing but 2n minus 1. So it will be 2n minus 1. So the time complexity will be almost equivalent to n into n. That is nothing but n square, right? Okay, I hope this problem will be clear to you. So if it's not clear to you, please rewind the video from where I started teaching this problem. Okay, so if this problem is clear to you, next problem will be very easy for you. So let's move on to next problem.